watch this?
How?
Ew,
How do you watch this? Dude, I'm gonna pee my pants.
Hi, you're listening to How Do You Watch This, a movie review podcast where each week we recommend a movie in the genre we love, but they don't. My name is Demi, and I love horror.
My name is Megan, and I love romance.
And this week, I had Megan watch the movie The Descent.
Yeah, which if you watched, if you listened to the last episode, I was very devastated that this was going to be the pick she picked for me. And yeah, there's a lot to say and yet nothing to say, because this is, I think that these are the shortest notes I've ever taken.
Yep, truly. When I was rewatching, I was like, not a lot. I mean, a lot happens, but like not in a way that we're explaining the movie.
Cohesive.
Yes,
So
a lot happens, but it's just, surviving in a cave,
Yeah, it's like, oh, they're surviving.
Just a bunch of ladies hanging out.
Yeah.
In the dark.
So it's a 2005 movie rated R, which I'm looking at my past movies and it's just R. And then it's PG for Beetlejuice, which is hilarious. It's an hour and 39 minutes. Monster horror. I was tempted to call it a slasher monster. It's like almost slashery, but not quite. It is gory as hell, though.
Yeah.
Neil Marshall is the director, and I'll jump into the rest of this shenanigans. All right. This is going to be the most cohesive part of my notes because this is the most easy to follow storyline at the very beginning.
Yeah.
Essentially, the movie starts. There's a trio of ladies who are whitewater rafting, and it looks fun. I was like, yeah, cool.
Yeah. They did that themselves too.
Did
no
they?
Stunt doubles.
Impressive. I whitewater rafted once, and it was like the lowest rapids you could go on. It was so boring. I was like, where are all the bumps?
Oh,
like,
really?
Yeah.
The one I did was like low too, but it was a little crazy. So.
No, it was not crazy enough for me. There was like one or two areas of bumpages, and then it was just like chill. And I was like, I want to be scared.
I want to almost die.
I just want to be like, whoa, I survived. Yeah. You know what I mean?
We'll do level 2 together.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. There we go. So they're whitewater rafting, and there's a little girl and a man who are watching. And you know that basically that's the husband and child of one of the women. And they're kind of, the girls are goofing off, and one of the women pushes the other one into the water, and the man drags her out. And it kind of seems like that's the husband, because he's being really tender and like unhooking her helmet. And it just feels kind of weird, like this weird little moment. But then you see that the blonde lady's talking to the kid and is clearly the mother, and then calls over the husband because they're gonna leave. So there's a weird little thing where you're thinking, ooh, the one friend's not a friend. They're being nasty with your husband.
Nasty.
Yeah. And then they're driving, and the mom turns around and she's chatting with the daughter, and she looks at the husband, and she's like, you seem distracted. What's wrong? And he looks over at her, and we watch as he swerves slowly into the other lane and collides with another car, which has copper pipes on it that kill the husband and the daughter, which was so rude. There was no reason the daughter had to die. The husband, what?
Yeah.
Okay.
They didn't show it.
Yeah, they didn't show the daughter.
So,
but it was pretty awful. The woman wakes up in the hospital, has a breakdown, obviously, and the friend, the cheater friend, the bad friend, whose name is Juno. Yeah. She leaves because she can't handle it, because obviously she just lost her lover.
It's all about her.
It's all about her.
Fucking Juno, dude. Oh,
Juno.
The things I have to say about Juno.
Oh, I have a lot to say about Juno. So a year later, we're in the Appalachian Mountains, and there's a reunion, and essentially the woman who lost everything, her name is Sarah. She is, trying to get her life back together again. And as an attempt to get her, doing fun stuff,
Mhm.
Juno puts together a cave diving expedition to a really simple cave. They keep saying it's like basically tourist caves. And I was thinking to myself, like, the idea of spelunking is not something that I would be into.
Yeah.
However, if they were like, it's tourist level
Right.
spelunking, it's going to be so easy and you're going to see really cool stuff and it's going to feel off the beaten track, but it's going to be like, it's so safe, so
Yeah.
fine, whatever.
Mhm.
I would do it.
Yeah. It's
And
like,
if it
oh,
was-
okay, other people do it, right? Touristy, I
Right.
can handle
Touristy,
this.
fine. My best friend says I can do this, totally fine.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. All right,
I'm gonna trust
girl.
my best friend.
Yeah, I'm going to trust her. I'm going to be like, you've got my best interests at heart. Okay. And then, I mean, there's like a horrible green screen as they are going into this cave. And mind you, Juno is kind of leading and she's just annoying already off the bat. There's just, you know, she reminds me of like people I've known in life. And I'm like, oh, I don't like you.
Yeah.
And I know you're bad because I know you were being a nasty friend already.
I mean, she gives ick vibes from the
Yeah.
start, so it's not like
Yeah.
we're just projecting. It's like,
No,
you can tell she sucks.
Yeah, right away. It's like something's weird and you didn't stay to help your friend when she was mourning. The
Mhm.
greatest loss a human being could go through. So, whatever. Then she leaves the guidebook in the car. And I was like, you idiot. And she's making these comments like, I've never gotten lost in my life. And I was just like, God, you're so annoying. Everything about you. So they have really bad CGI as they descend into the cave. And I like couldn't handle it. It was like clearly a green screen and like spliced and
And to
stuff.
be fair, that's the only CGI they used. They actually
Really?
constructed the whole cave system because they obviously weren't going to
impressive.
film in a live cave. So,
Yeah.
21 separate cave sets.
Wow. That's pretty impressive. Pretty cool.
Mhm.
It definitely, it looks really good. I knew it wasn't going to be a real cave because there's no way you would ever be allowed to touch stalactites and stalagmites like that because you would ruin the growth.
Yeah.
If I've learned anything from my cave adventures, because I love, Demi knows this about me. I really love going to caves. I think they're so cool. And so she was like, let's ruin caves for you. So you're not allowed to touch stalactites and stalagmites because your human oils on your fingers ruins the possible future growth because the water will no longer grab the calcium and the water won't grab onto the stone. In case you were wondering, fun facts
I was
about
wondering.
caves.
I love caves. This would be good for my next
Yeah.
Underdark character in D&D. You know, all about the cave systems.
So there's this really bad explosion, and Travis was sitting next to me during the beginning. He did not want to watch this. He was like, the idea of spelunking is so scary to him. The idea of getting trapped in a cave. My dad had us watch this horrible movie. Oh my God. My dad had us watch this horrible movie that I told you about a few years ago. And it's about this dude who went spelunking in Utah and got stuck upside down in a tight crevice in a cave system, and they were not able to get him out, and he died because of the blood rushing to his head and being trapped. So that idea is so horrible.
Yeah.
Where like that's why I would never go off the beaten path on a cave. But again, touristy cave, sure, bestie. Then they are going from the main area into the next region, and the one lady is like, oh, this looks different than what, you know, we read in the books. And Juno's like, that's why I don't trust books. Which is like,
Juno.
what do you mean? And so then they move forward to the next one, and they're climbing through this really tight hole. And again, I'm thinking to myself, first of all, I would not want to climb through a tight space like that. But
No.
again, if I knew, verified, I'm coming out on the other end in a big area, and it's going to be like, this is totally safe, I'm totally fine, I think I would be able to crawl through it. But that's a very hard if, because I really do think I wouldn't want to go into that region. That sounds so horrible.
I don't even
then-
like walking through a cave that's open.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't mind that. But the tight spots I'm not a fan of. And then the worst happens, which is that Sarah gets caught. She's stuck and she's panicking, and Then the cave starts to collapse on
It starts shifting.
her. Right. And like, what? What do you mean it's shifting? That doesn't make any sense. So she's going to die, and she ends up getting pulled out. Her friend pulls her out, thank God.
Yeah.
And they lose the one bag of ropes in the process. And then obviously they can't turn around and go back the way they came.
Mm-hmm.
So there's only one way. They got to get out. And they were talking. And the lady's like, oh, well, there's like 3 exits, right? And Juno's like, she was like, just check the guide. And she was like, I left the guide at the car. We don't need, it's worthless. And they were like, what do you mean it's worthless? And this is when we find out. Because up until this point, I thought Juno had just been like, I'll figure it out. I'll remember the guidebook. But no, It wasn't that. She literally took them to an entirely different cave system, an unexplored cave system. I thought to myself in that moment, I don't think I could be held accountable for my actions.
I would have committed murder for sure.
Because you basically are saying, oh, you're gonna die.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Cave systems, dude, you don't know that there's another way out.
No, you don't know. Yeah, there's no way out. Or you don't know how long it will take to get out.
No.
And I'm sure these women did not prepare for fucking long expedition here.
Exactly. The amount of people who have died exploring caves is unbelievable. The amount of unexplored regions of caves because of how dangerous it is to travel through caves is unbelievable. Leave it to the drones to do their little thing and find the hidey holes and then figure it out. Dude,
give the jobs to the robots. This is what robots
exactly.
are made for.
Exactly. They made it so we can explore caves safely. Okay. I was so upset for them in this moment, and that would have definitely been a friendship ending moment. Like, I would never trust you again.
Oh, for sure.
And so they have to carry on. They have to keep going. So they have to keep traveling, and there's this big crevasse, and they have to climb along the ceiling to get across. And as they're going, they see that there's a hook already in the wall. Which is when, if I wasn't already absolutely livid with Juno, I would have been like, cool, girl, cool. So we're actually dead. Because she keeps talking about how it's undiscovered.
Right.
Oh, look, it is discovered, and people just clearly died. Because she's even says, she's like, yeah, well, if they had survived, they would have named the cave, and the cave's not named.
Yep. That's
her only use at this point is because of her expertise to get them out of the cave. That is her only use. That's the only reason why she should be left standing. So then they end up seeing cave paintings, and Travis started laughing at this moment. And I looked over at him and he goes, what? It's going to be like an ancient Indian burial ground or something. Which I was waiting for that to be a plot twist, but it wasn't.
It's a popular one for horror movies.
Yeah. So that's not actually what's the case, but essentially in the cave paintings, they're seeing that there's 2 exits, I think is what they said.
Mm-hmm.
So they are trying to get out. We get our first glimpse of the beast. Sarah sees it.
They're actually called crawlers.
Okay, of the crawler. Excuse me. Actually, Sarah didn't see it at this point. The camera just pans to it and we see it.
Yeah.
And then this freaking other kid. So there's this other girl who's like Juno's protege.
Yeah, Holly, right?
Yeah, Holly, who's just as annoying. And she's like, no risk, no reward, whatever. And then she thinks she sees daylight and she just starts running. Which, I don't know, like, who raised you?
Right, and it's like, have you never been in this type of like, exploring? Why would you do that?
She's explored all over, and like everything in Galway was explored, so she came here or whatever they said.
False.
No,
she was like jumping buildings or some shit. I don't know. She was like a jumper. It's like, okay, well, you didn't jump well enough.
No, yeah, you really didn't, because you slid and broke your leg, and we see bone.
Yep.
Luckily, one of them happens to be a resident doctor student, so she sets it.
Lucky for them.
Yeah, lucky for them indeed. Sarah ends up seeing a man, and she's freaking out, but Juno's like, stop, knock it off, it's the cave. Like, just...
But then, like, Sarah's like, there's other people in here, help us. And I'm like, shut the fuck up.
Right.
If there's other people in here, it's probably not good.
No, exactly. I would not be calling out to other people being in there, because, like, what are... you guys went to the entrance. There was no signs of life there.
Yeah.
You would have seen it. Like,
Right.
It's gonna be that situation of like what is it? The Appalachian people who hide in the systems and come out and kill you. I don't know.
Yes, yeah. Or like they like got lost and got crazy. I wouldn't trust
Yeah.
anyone. I wouldn't trust anyone.
No, me neither.
They've had to resort to some sort of cannibalism, probably.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
not good.
Not good at all. Someone starts screaming for help, and a creature shows up and then bites Holly's neck. So all that hard work of setting her leg was for nothing because she's done. And there's a lot of neck biting that happens that doesn't lead to death in this movie, which is weird. There's just a lot of neck biting, and they're going right for the jugular. So I feel like it would be a lot of like instant death, but whatever. So she doesn't die right away, but Juno's fighting off the creature. And another creature comes, and it's like very confusing when you're watching. You're like, I don't know what's happening. There's a lot of split screens going on. So I thought there were 2 fights happening at once.
Yeah, it was like hard because of the way it was like framed. And this is like early 2000s. So they really loved that style where it was like the sporadic type of sporadic movement. And they did say that with the crawlers scenes, the frame rate was different. So it kind of looked more jumpy. So a lot of it when they were like fighting each other was just like, I don't know who's fighting here, and it's dark and everyone's covered in blood.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, exactly. So this leads to my deleted scene, which is the accidental murder of the one friend. I believe her name is Beth. She is the other of the trio from the beginning.
Yeah.
The real friend who was actually supportive of Sarah. And she went back for Juno because she didn't know where Juno was, and she grabs Juno, and Juno thinks it's a crawler and slices her in the neck with her climbing equipment.
Yeah.
And then obviously shuts down because like, what if you just killed your friend? Like, what are you gonna?
It's pretty horrible.
Yeah.
I mean, it's tricky because Juno was just high adrenaline, so she just reacted. But it's like, damn, girl.
Right, like
holy shit.
You're not alone in this system. It's not like you have a history of trauma that we've been like built up that we know about. We just know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But if I was the friend, I would have been like, Juno, hey, like over here. I would not have.
No, I wouldn't just grab at someone who has a weapon.
Yeah, who's just murdering something.
Right.
No, I'm not that stupid.
No, exactly. That's what I was thinking. They should have been hollering out to her. But again, she should have been more conscientious. I do think it was a genuine accident. Yeah. It was not intentional. But she does leave her behind. And I guess at that point, you know,
I figured she was dead, but like I would have tried a little harder, I guess. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
If it's my friend, like I wouldn't want to leave you if I accidentally fucking stabbed you. It's like I'm not gonna fucking leave you here. It's like worse.
Like, okay, bye, Debbie.
Like, all right, you know.
I think at that point I would just be like, the creatures can take me. Like,
it's like, well,
I'm not gonna have a viable. No, I don't want to live now.
Right? It's like, oh, cool. I just murdered my friend.
Right. Oh, how am I gonna
live
survive
with that?
My mental health struggles enough as it is. I will not be good if I am a murderer now.
Yeah, so it's just a bad situation.
So bad. And essentially Beth like grabbed Juno's necklace and held it. So there's so much. This is my next line in my notes. Lots of discombobulated survival.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the girls are like split up, and there's like crawlers in some places, and some are just screaming and running. And
oh my god,
that scene where the crawler first appears is actually the first time the group saw the creature because they didn't know like what they looked like. So their screams were genuine.
They're creepy. They look like they are human beings who banged a stalactite. It's like
that's a really good
So the next major thing that happens is that Sarah, you know, the group has scattered. They're all apart, and Sarah's on her own, and she ends up finding Beth, the one who got slashed in the throat. And miraculously, this woman has not bled out yet. Don't know how.
I don't know.
Yeah, and she can also somehow still talk, even though her throat literally went through her entire throat.
I guess it was, I don't know, because it went through the side, I don't know enough about throat anatomy.
No.
I don't know if it went further
the
back.
The sign is the jugular, and then you have your throat right in the center.
Yeah, that's what I'm like. It has to be a very impressive, very specific way, possibly, if that's even possible. I don't even know if that's possible.
No, I don't know. But essentially, Sarah finds her. Beth gives her the necklace and tells her that, basically finds out that the husband gave freaking Juno that necklace. Which, Beth, okay, if you knew that and you were keeping that to yourself,
girl, if I found out that your man was talking with another friend of ours, no.
No. Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, you know what? I'm not keeping.
No,
we're not still friends. Are you joking with me? Easy. That's an easy friendship to end.
It's just like crazy because it's not like, this is still bad too, but it's not like if Sarah was the one cheating around and then or Juno, and it's like didn't say anything. It's like, well, that's my friend, which is still bad. But it's a husband. I'm like, I don't have loyalties to you. Loyalties to you. I'm telling on you and my friend.
Yes, exactly.
Everyone out.
That's the thing. It's like, you know what? I understand Juno not telling her after the husband died, because at that point, the only person who she's going to make feel better is herself for alleviating the guilt of being a horrible, horrible friend.
Yeah, shitty person.
So I was like, fine, like, I get that you wouldn't share that at that point, because all you're gonna do is pour salt into a wound.
Right.
But the other friend, like, if you know.
No.
Like, also, she's going through all this mourning over her husband, who she's probably like, oh my God, like, I distracted him, and that's why we got in that car accident. Yeah. She's probably blaming herself. But no, he was distracted because he's a cheater?
Yeah, that's one thing I was like, that's so fucked. No, like, there's no way I could keep that secret.
No.
What?
No,
what?
I don't like...
No.
I'm trying to think of a situation in which I would...
It's literally if Travis was cheating on you with Alyssa and I didn't say anything.
Yeah, it is like that. It is like that. It is like that. Mm-hmm.
It's like, homie, what? What?
Right. Yeah.
Because it's not like Alyssa's your friend too, so she's fucking you over. It's not like she's like, oh, this is a random dude and didn't know he happened to be married to you. No, this is fully awareness situation. Right. So... No.
And I can't understand that in general. Just like in life, being someone's close friend, even if you're not their best friend, if you're close enough to go whitewater rafting together, the sacred whitewater rafting.
We don't go whitewater rafting with just anyone, okay?
No, you don't. You have to trust them. You have to. You have to depend on them.
You do.
And they sleep with your husband? Like, who does that?
Dude, I mean, people are scummy.
Yeah,
people are scummy.
It's so wild. I mean, I hear stories like that, but I'm like, how do you?
It's like, you hear stories about this man. Your friend's probably saying like, oh, he's great, but also he like picks his nose and picks his asshole and all the bad things about him. It's like, you really want to be with this man? Like, you want to
yeah. Like, I am basically the worst to like add for the sexiness of your own husband.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say all the good stuff about Brett.
No, that's my personal business.
I'm not gonna brag about all the good stuff.
Right.
I'm gonna say all the freaking shit that pisses me off, and it's like,
I'm gonna complain and be like, this is the annoying shit he does, and then the secret nice stuff is my own little private parade. You know what I mean? Like. It's between me and him, but
people are wild, and
so wild. And you know what? This is a PSA to everyone out there. If you've ever even thought about it, you're a bad friend.
Yeah, no, you're a shitty person.
I'm sorry, but you are. But I don't think Sarah knew that Juno was nasty.
No, not like that. Not like that. I don't think Sarah. I mean, we don't know, but I don't know if she like really had an idea.
So, you know, what do we know? We didn't get very much, but
and now they're fighting for their lives.
Oh my God. Okay.
Because of Juno again.
Fighting for their lives, and so because of freaking Juno, like they should have if they had just cut her out when they should have.
Yes. You know, if Beth would have stepped in, they would have never been in a situation.
So this is all Beth's fault. In the
long
run,
Beth's fault.
Yeah. This is why you
Don't
have to
be
be
Beth.
a real friend. Yeah. You've got to tattle. You snitch on those people who are being lame.
Yeah, do not sit on the sidelines because it does not work out. Because then, if they would have survived the situation, and if I was Sarah and I was like, Beth, why didn't you tell me, you fucking bitch? I would have been, I would have unfriended both of them. And then as Beth, you would have lost everyone. So
yeah, exactly. Be really shitty to be Beth. Yep. Especially because Beth is dying. She's slowly dying. Now. She's slowly dying, and she's like, Sarah, finish me off, which is a horrible thing to ask somebody. Yes. And I was like, would I finish Demi off?
If I kept that secret from you, or if you kept that secret from me, it would be a little easier. That makes it a little
easier. It does make it a little easier to have that moment.
Yeah.
Travis walked in, because he had walked out up until this point, and he walked in at this moment, and he was like, this is fucked up. I was like, yeah, I know, dude. I know, you're right. Yeah, this is the kind of shit Demi makes me watch. Best friends having to kill each other to put them out of their misery since they're slowly bleeding out.
Oh, but short answer, it would be difficult, but I'd rather put you out of your misery than let you fucking get eaten.
Yeah, no, I thought about
possibly
that too.
Alive.
I was like, if the alternative is you being eaten by a creature, I wouldn't want you to have to live in fear for the last few moments. So sure, I'll throw a rock at your head. Yeah, but I would prefer not to.
We could have possibly done like a Romeo and Juliet type of thing and just both die together.
No, there you go. I would lift the rock high enough, get underneath it, smashes both of our heads at the same time.
It's the only correct answer.
It's the only way we're getting out of this with like the least amount of emotional damage.
Yes, yeah.
Oh my god. Oh, so then there's a blood pit somehow. Somehow there's enough blood being created by these monsters who never, I don't know how they're getting, whatever. I think they're pulling in animals from the mountainside or something. But I don't know how there's enough blood for a pool of blood. But there is. She climbs in. She gets attacked in it. There's fighting.
It's just their like normal bath, I guess. They don't use water.
Yeah, they bathe in blood. It's how they stay so young and like smooth skin.
Skin looks great.
Yeah, yeah. So a horde of them is chasing Juno. There's like really horrible camera spinning as the girl Sam is trying to climb. For some reason, she's trying to climb across to escape.
Oh, bitch.
It doesn't make any sense. They're like, you don't have enough rope.
Yeah.
Turn around, and then there's a crawler up there, and he kills her, and she's just kind of floating dead.
Yep.
In the air. Cool. There's Sarah and Juno are back together again. There's a really bad eyeball scene where eyeballs are squished and hate eyeball scenes.
I didn't like that scene either.
No. And then Juno and Sarah are looking at each other, and Sarah's been kind of like quizzing Juno, and she's like, what happened to Beth? And she's like, Beth is gone. And she was like, well, did you see her die? And she was like, yeah. Which in this exact moment, I don't really know how you would explain what happened. Like, I don't really know how Juno could have explained it to Sarah.
Yeah.
I also would understand wanting to take that to your grave. Not saying she did the right thing, just saying I can get not wanting to tell people you accidentally killed your friend.
Right.
In a cave. I wouldn't be able to keep that secret. I was just thinking to myself.
Yeah, I feel like I would have to say something. Like, even if people look at me bad, it's just like, it was an accident, but like, I fucking did it, you know?
Yeah,
just...
I would never be able to. I know my conscience. I can't. I literally, if I like say something mean about someone, I'm like, I said something mean about you. I have to let you know.
In my dream, I said this about you. I'm so sorry.
Yes, exactly. I cannot handle it. So I would have just been like, I killed her, you know?
Yeah.
Would have called it. So she then shows her that she has the necklace, which is like, by the way, the most 2005 necklace ever. It's like a feather, a silver feather. And it says like love life on the back.
Yeah, like which is something he used to just say. And I'm like, ew.
God. Oh my God.
Like, I can't even imagine like a quote Brett would usually say to put on a necklace.
No,
it definitely would be something like
something stupid. It would be, I'm telling you right now, it would be a Ninja Sex Hero quote. It would be like, he loves to quote like various songs that they sing. So it would be something like that. It would be some weird vocal stim that
like
he
a
has.
quote from The Room. Like it would just be
right. Anything for my princess, and everyone's like, "Oh, no, so not for him. It's not."
Yeah.
So she shows her that she has the necklace, and Juno's like, oh! And then she stabs Juno in the leg. I really thought she was going for the jugular, but she was just like, you can just die, I guess. Just like get eaten. Up. So she lets her have a slow. Yeah, it was real fucked up. It would have been nicer for her to get her in the throat.
Juno didn't deserve it. I mean, not only did Juno sleep with her man, she killed all their friends.
Yeah, like, it's her fault. It's all Juno's fault for sure. So she ends up falling and like collapses, and then she wakes up in like this shaft of daylight, and there's tons of human skeletons, tons and tons. Enough that people in the nearby town would be like, wow, we're missing a lot of people. There's something really concerning, and we have a serial killer or something.
I mean,
like
if it's in like a park.
Yeah, national parks are kind of
get lost
spooky.
all the time in there.
Yeah, that's true. You're not wrong.
Probably not enough to make all those bones, but who knows how long these
creatures have been there for. Well, I have a
creatures
theory.
have been along there for a long time.
So she ends up being able to escape. She gets to her car. She pulls over, has a breakdown, obviously, and then when she looks up, she sees Juno's dead body next to her, and then she wakes up again. Because it wasn't real, and she's in the cave, and she's with her daughter, who has a birthday cake in front of her, and then it transforms into a torch, and that's the end.
So you got the original UK version.
Oh, I forgot that you said that there's 2 endings, and and that's my most memorable is her waking up in the cave.
Yeah, the American version is her in the truck seeing Juno dead, and then that's where it ends. So they made it more happier, I guess, that she made it out.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's happier. I mean,
Travis saw the ending and was like, so they all died? And I was like, I mean, they didn't show the death of the 2 of them, but like essentially it's assumed. I mean, I saw that there's a descent too, so
I can tell you real quick
about
tell that.
Because
it's not that good. And if you don't like this one, you're not gonna like that one. So basically, I think they follow the American ending. She makes it out, and then people come up to her and they're like, "Hey, we need to go through this cave. You went through it." It's like an alien situation. It's like, why the fuck would I want to go through that again?
Yeah, no.
So she ends up like helping out. I forget like what convinces her. Juno's still alive in there, surviving somehow.
God, of course she is.
And her and Sarah end up like kind of like forgiving each other, and they die together.
Shut up.
Stupid.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
Juno's
I was like, fuck this shit. I'm like, Juno. When I watched it, I was like, what? Fuck that bitch. Juno.
Goodbye.
So
uninterested.
Yeah, it's. I feel like it takes away too. 'Cause the original ending, it's like, you know, you don't know, and so it's sad, but it is what it is. It's what happens when you go into caves.
Yeah. It is what happens when you go into caves. I've had that happen to me many times. I've many times been attacked by a crawler.
You've had to escape for your life.
Yeah. I think this is part of my history of loving caves and also not being terrified of them. Like growing up in a little, like having more rural experiences and things like that, I wasn't that scared. I would say I was like a good 50%. Like it was a little spooky. Like if I had like a scarometer and it went from 0 to 5, I would say it was like right in the halfway point with scariness because there were some decent jump scares. However, I'm not going to now be afraid to go to a cavern or whatever because I'm not going to be like, oh, is there a creature around the corner?
I hope there are no creatures in here.
It's more likely if this ended up being about someone getting trapped in a cave, like that's more likely to freak me out.
Yeah.
I did question our friendship a few times watching this where I was like, what's wrong with her? What's wrong with her? And what's wrong with her?
I'll be honest, I don't remember a lot of the gore in this. I was like, oh.
There was a lot of gore, dude. There was a lot of gore, dude. And I was like, that's the one thing I really hate. I really hate gore.
Yeah.
That's fine. Whatever. I would say on a gore meter, good 4 out of 5. Not the goriest.
I think that's fair, yeah.
But gory. It was gory. There was lots of blood.
Yeah. pool of blood.
Pool of blood. A whole pool of it. A whole pool of it. So some things that are going well for this movie. It's original. It's a very original concept. Never heard of creatures inside the world before. I do think if we were talking about the monsters themselves, my initial theory was that whoever came there over 100 years ago never made it out and just transformed to survive, anamorphed into those creatures. That was my initial theory. What's the other?
That's like what I thought too for a long time. But apparently it's actually supposed to just be cave people that just evolved in the caves and really. So it's even long. Like that's how long they've been in there.
So it's like the cave painting was them, and they were like, "Oh, we'll just live in this cave now." And
this cave's fucking rad.
Yeah, awesome. I love being in the dark.
Fuck yeah. Who needs to venture out? You know, it's a few introverts decided to just stay in the cave.
People who like the dark and not doing anything ever because you can't do anything.
Yeah, and you know what? The animals, it's too dangerous out there.
Yeah,
so
it is dangerous.
Outside.
Be the danger.
Be the danger. So that's what that is. So they're supposed to be like cave people. But yeah, I also thought it was just like explorers that were there a long time ago and just got lost and just evolved in there and survived somehow long enough. But whatever. Either way, they were human-ish.
They were humanoid.
Humanoid.
At this point, they're humanoid.
Yeah.
The movie itself, for me, not enjoyable.
Not a good time.
Yeah, I was not having fun. Throughout the time, I was just like, "Oh, this isn't fun." I wasn't like I'm miserable, but I was like, "I'm not. This isn't good."
It's not your vibe. Yeah.
No, not my vibe. The pacing was a little slow, and then it was just kind of weird. Like, you know, they're just that like at the beginning, it was very slow to start for them to get to the cave, and like kind of like weird writing. And I feel like they were trying to build up a camaraderie with the friends. And I wasn't getting it. And maybe that was just me. But I was like, I don't know. I'm not feeling it. I didn't feel an emotional connection to the story, which I think is a big downside for me.
Yeah.
And, you know, a lot of that is the things we've already discussed, the reason why. So for me, not like a highly rewatchable movie.
Yeah.
So my rating. Well, first of all, before I go into my rating. Main character, pass. Villain, pass. I would say the main character, Sarah, and she's grieving. I'm not trying to...
She's not in a good state.
Yeah, it's just not. She's not emotionally available. And then Juno, not if she was the last person on Earth. Not if she was the last person on Earth. She's scum.
She is scum.
Scum. Survival chance, I said 0. I did not see myself surviving. This shit.
Technically no one did, so
technically no one did. I know that the minute the cave crumbled in and I found out we were in the wrong system, like I would have probably
taking myself out.
Yeah. It would have been a rough ride for me at that point. I don't know. I definitely thought to myself, like, I would have pooped my pants, probably. Would have been screaming, crying, throwing up. I would have known. Essentially, it's a death sentence. So,
yeah.
Cool. Would I recommend? No, I wouldn't recommend. I didn't have a good time. My rating. I had a few thoughts.
Yeah.
And I went with my gut, which is 0.5.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I did not like it. I didn't like it. Yeah.
Okay.
And it's not even that it was scary.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't that scared. I didn't like it.
Wow. Yeah, I wasn't, because as I rewatched it, because it is a very popular horror movie. It is a very popular one. Yeah. And there are things I really like about it. I like that it's all female cast. And the director did this intentionally because he did another movie called Dog Soldiers. And it was all male cast mostly. And so he decided to swap things up. And I'm like, you know what? I like that. And I like the idea, like you said, where it's, you know, creative. You know, it's in a cave. It's a little different. You know, so I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I'm not into gore as much as I used to be. So the gore scenes did take me out a bit. And then there's like weird filming shit
yeah,
where I'm like,
it
ages these movies a lot. So I was like, I don't know how I'd rate this. I think I'd have to go like in the middle.
Okay.
Like I think I'd have to go like 3, maybe like a 3.5. I give it its credit, and I would recommend it to people that like horror that hadn't seen it. But I know it's very well liked, and it's a UK movie, so it's foreign, and people like a lot of foreign movies. So
I mentioned it to someone who also loves horror movies, and they were like, "Oh my god, I love that one." I was like, can't relate. So I know for horror people it's good, and I think that for a horror person it would be worthwhile watch. Just as a non-horror person, no.
Didn't do it for you.
No, it wasn't enjoyable for me, and I wasn't miserable. I just was thinking like, you know what's funny is it has a lower heart rating, but I actually preferred Carrie over this.
Okay.
And that's why I was almost like, do I give it a lower rating? And I was like,
I could see like what you said with not feeling connected to the story. Like I feel like with Carrie, like at least Carrie is like, you know, I like her, you know, I feel bad. It's like you kind of connect more with that, but it is true with this movie. It's like hard to connect with the characters, and you know, it's like they're friends, but it also seems like they're not friends because they're all like the one's cheating, the other one doesn't say anything about
keeping
the cheating.
That as a secret.
And I feel like that whole situation kind of screwed with things. And it's funny because the director actually talked to like his female friends, was asking their advice with like characters and how to make them more like realistic and stuff. And I'm like, what female friends are you talking to?
Right.
I want to know.
Look at your friends and, and consider.
It would have been a different situation for me if you would have asked me.
Yeah.
So I think that's like definitely part of it too, where like for me watching it, it just felt like, you know, just a horror movie you put on. Like I'm not watching it and you know, I'm rooting for Sarah because, you know, she's been through a lot, but then she doesn't fucking make it out in the end anyway. So
yeah,
you just feel like, cool.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it's better to die anyway.
The fact that I'm forced to watch it with both my eyeballs is making it the rating lower, I think. So.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So that's my pick.
Okay. All right. What is my movie? I'm a little nervous.
So you should be because the rating is so low. Okay.
Oh. Well, we can't trust the ratings.
No, you can't trust the ratings.
No.
So the movie I'm giving you for next week is called Fool's Gold with Matthew McConaughey and Kate Hudson.
Okay. I haven't seen it, but I know that name. No.
Yeah. I remember watching it a long time ago. I remember I probably watched it close to, if not 20 years ago. Is it 20 years old? It's
older.
Not quite. It's 2008. So I watched it at least 15 years ago. It's been a long time.
Okay.
So I genuinely, it's going to be like I'm watching it for the first time all over again with you.
Okay. That's
so
awesome.
This one, it's a rom-com action movie.
Fuck yeah.
And essentially, Matthew McConaughey plays Benjamin Finnegan, who is a treasure hunter. And in the search for gold, he loses the real treasure of his heart, which is his wife. So he finds out about a really big treasure that's nearby, and his ex-wife just happens to be there, and he tries to convince her to join him on the hunt.
Okay.
So
that's
the movie. It'll be an interesting one.
Okay. I look forward, I guess, to watching it. Seeing Matthew McConaughey, I love him so much.
And he gets shirtless, so you know.
All right, that's
always
cool.
good. It's always a good moment.
I like that.
Yeah.
Sweet. All right. Well.
Okay.
Oh, that's me.
Yeah, it's you.
We're signing off. You listened to. Thank you for listening to us. How do you watch this? You can find us on Instagram, How Do You Watch This, or TikTok, How Do You Watch, or email us at howdoyouwatchthis@gmail.com if you like the show. Support us by giving us a review or recommending to a friend. Thank you, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.